Okay, so on the last day of 2020, I made a video about an article in which new Kirby games were hinted at for 2021, and since then there have been no official announcements or statements by Nintendo or HAL Laboratory on what they plan to do with the Kirby franchise in 2021. So in this video, I'm going to be going over an article and a leak to do with Kirby games releasing in 2021, and then I'll be trying to predict when they will actually release. And before that said, let's start the video. Alright, so the article that we need to go over is one that was published by Silicon Era on the 28th of December in 2020. This relatively small article is basically just a translation of part of an interview between a Japanese video game website known as 4Gamer and 3 video game directors who work at HAL Laboratory. And for those of you that don't know what HAL Laboratory is, it's the development team behind every single Kirby game, the first 2 Super Smash Bros. Games, and the Mother franchise. Of the 3 comments that we have available to us, the comment by Yumi Toto is definitely the most informative. Her comment reads, "We'll keep working hard on our goal in 2021. That is for as many people as possible to enjoy Kirby. We have plans not only for games, but for merchandise, books, and a variety of events like with the Kirby Cafe. We hope you'll continue to support both Kirby and HAL Laboratory in 2021. So let's pick this comment apart. She says that the goal for 2021 is for as many people as possible to enjoy Kirby. And right after that, she says that we have plans not only for games. Now, if you take a really close look at that, games is plural, so that means there will be at least 2 Kirby games releasing this year, which is pretty normal for the franchise. But then seeing as she said the goal is for as many people as possible to enjoy Kirby, I think this means that there'll be 1 mainline Kirby game and 1 spin-off Kirby game. Just let me explain. It's most likely that the mainline game will be a 2D platformer as they sell really well and appeal to a lot of people, but there is a small possibility that it will be a 3D game. As Shinya Kumazaki, who is the current general director of the Kirby series, has said that him and his team are really interested in making a 3D Kirby game, and he also mentions that he knows that there are people who want a 3D Kirby game, so the possibility for a 3D Kirby game is definitely there. Then on the other hand, we've got the spin-off game, and it would make sense for this game to be a remake or a sequel to Kirby Air Ride. Racing games for some reason have a huge audience on the Switch, as shown by the success of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, so this game would appeal to a stupid amount of people, and everyone who's played Kirby Air Ride wants a remake or a sequel to the game, and I'm sure everyone at HAL Laboratory knows this. So I feel like this is what the spin-off game will most likely be. And that's basically the end of the comment, as yeah, it's cool that they're going to be making merchandise and books and all that, but I care more about the actual game, so moving on. Now that we've spoken about that article, there's a leak I want to talk about, and as much as I hate leaks, there is one leak that I think could actually mean something, and so I'll be going over it. So, back in September of last year, when Kirby Fighters 2 was released, data miners instantly dug through the game's files, and they found evidence that points towards a new 3D Kirby game being in development. As in the files for Kirby Fighters 2, there were things like Kirby 3D and sample programs for different Kirby characters, such as Waddle Dee and Blade Knight. In the same data mine, the data miner, who goes by the name of Farubi on Twitter, said that he also found a bunch of experimental test projects in the files for Kirby Fighters 2. So all of this could potentially mean that a 3D Kirby game is in fact in development. But then again, this is just a leak and this guy could just be making shit up or lying, so who knows. But when considering that the general director of Kirby wants to make a 3D Kirby game, and now there are files titled Kirby 3D in the latest Kirby game, a 3D Kirby game is looking very likely. E3 is a little over a month away, and so seeing as no Kirby games have been announced so far this year, I'm 100% sure that Kirby games will be shown off at E3. So the question is, when will those games be released? Well, I feel like whatever the spin-off game that they release this year could release whenever, as I doubt Nintendo are going to have a spin-off Kirby game as their big holiday game for the year. But for the mainline Kirby game, I would expect it to release sometime in September. Now, why September, you may be asking? Well, for one, releasing a mainline Kirby game at the end of the 3rd quarter of the year would ensure that Nintendo release a big game in each quarter of 2021. And for 2, Kirby games just simply don't sell well enough to be a holiday game, as Nintendo have games like Breath of the Wild 2 that'll be released in late November or early December to make sure they make as much money as possible in the holiday season. So to summarize, I reckon we'll get 2 new Kirby games this year, with one of those being a spin-off game that will probably be a remake or a sequel to Kirby Air Ride, and that the other one will be a mainline game that will be in 3D. And before that said, it's the end of the video. Let me know in the comments what you want to see from Kirby this year, leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more Nintendo content, and yeah, thank you for watching.